Yeah, MLA John Rustad is the only leader that of an elected leader in Canada of a party that is saying CO2 is not the thermostat of the world. John has the distinction of sticking to his conviction and sticking up for his constituents in the Chaco Lake, saying if we continue, for example, reducing fertilizer by 30%, farmers aren't wasting 30% of their fertilizer, and he has a lot of his constituents raising cattle and crops. How are they going to make a living? Let alone how are we going to feed ourselves if we don't have the fertilizer? The price of food's going to go up. And what he contends is, yeah, so we'll have to pay more for food. The food in Africa will go up too, and they won't be able to afford to pay extra for their food, and we're giving them a death sentence in essence. And along with, farmers have to, and people in the forest and so on, have to use fuel. There's no substitute for, at the moment. You can't, electric tractors, ever heard of any of them? Or, and big haul trucks, it won't work. So he stood up for his constituents. He did studied the science, and he said, and he made a public statement that CO2 is not the thermostat of the world. I mentioned earlier there's no correlation with CO2. For making that statement public, he was kicked out of the BC Liberal Party. He was a member of the legislature, former cabinet minister. And so I congratulated him and invited him to join our group, which he has done. He's now gone on, he joined a party that in the last election got about 3% of the vote, the BC Conservative Party. He became the member and then the leader, fought a by-election and got 20% of the vote. And the public opinion poll shows that here's this guy who says CO2 isn't the thermostat of the world, and 26% of the population is supporting him, despite him saying that well, maybe it's because he said that. Obviously, there's a lot of the full range of policies, but he doesn't hide the fact that we could spend our money a whole lot better than trying to mitigate the temperature going up, especially as China, India, Russia aren't doing their bit at all. In fact, they're increasing their CO2. But we can spend our money much better to prepare for a change in climate, as opposed to trying to prevent it and control it. Bjorn Lomborg certainly agrees with him that there's a lot better way to spend that $275 trillion than trying to mitigate, because A, it can't be done from a science point of view, but economically it would just devastate our standard of living in the West, and it would actually do in a number of the poorer people around the world. So that's what, so John is very much in fact, the only one I know, an elected leader of a party in Canada, provincially or federally, that says CO2 isn't the thermostat of the world.